Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have a ranked community cast here today submitted by Canadian, and what he did was he put down his deployment as quickly as he could and then clicked go. And there is a delay to give the other player enough time to get things down. It doesn't just start automatically, but he was trying to give the impression that he had done a helo rush, because that's usually what is so quick. And, well, you can see it does look like his opponent, the Captain Monkey, has put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... at least 5 Ito 86s, so the value on that is about 125 points not really used in the front lines at the start, which, I mean, hey, that's a little bit better than 10%. That seems like it's probably a good thing to force your opponent to do, which, I mean, I'm not condoning this, it's a little bit cheesy, it's just, it's interesting the way that the psychology of that works, and if you are interested in psychology, I'm just kidding, I don't do anything with psychology, but still, like, share, subscribe, all that nonsense, it really does help out. So, I have not seen anything about this game yet. I was just told that that's how the start went, and it looks like I should really use Cobras more often. So, Canadian, I think he's bringing his generic blue 4 deck. I've suffered the wrath of this thing before, and it is very capable, but I'm kind of surprised there wasn't more invested in Charlie Bravo, because I've seen light investments here, but this is nothing, and I'm curious if it's going to come back to bite him. So, also F-14 Tomcat up, and it looks like most of his points are taken the long way around. It's a little hard to get everything to fast move through here, and you can see they're kind of going through the woods a bit. It looks like the initial fast move was probably to right there, and then a shift Q to get it going further. Also not really much contact in Golf or Fox. So you have to put yourself in the shoes of the captain here at this point. He was probably sitting there thinking, wait, I was expecting a rush, and instead I've got not much of anything, really. I mean, there's a single Cobra down the center, but that's basically it. So, is there a delayed push in Golf? Is there a delayed push in Fox? What's going on, right? I'd certainly be sitting there thinking, this doesn't really make much sense. But, I mean, if it works, and it looks like those first reinforcements on the ground in XA-186s are going to be towards Charlie, it's good. I think it's definitely something that he had to be worried about. SASF getting some good contact in. Looks like a kill on a vehicle there. Not sure if there was anything in it. And, okay, here we are. So Commando's Para around the side, Vab around the side, and the Alouette 2 from Monkey was there to catch that. So that is a good catch on his part. Otherwise, these guys could have just filtered right through this towns, and that's going to be a rough thing. Looks like he's going for... So I love this. I love this. This is something that I had done to me a couple weeks back. And since then, I've tried to do it to a couple others. You go around the side, you filter through here, and people often don't leave a lot of guards in this section of woods because they think, okay, we'll fight down here instead. So always do the unexpected. It will really benefit you in the long run. And holy, okay. So SASF are not generally thought of as good infantry killers because they don't have a tertiary, but those Yekari, man, I mean, I guess they were in the open ground, not quite in the woods, but still. Quite impressed by this SASF. I think they're a personal favorite of Canadians, judging by his South African Moto deck that I've also seen him play, and I certainly agree with that. I've done South African Motorized quite a few times myself, and I don't know, it has its drawbacks, certainly, but generally speaking, I tend to find SASF are very, very nice. So, 10 RCs through here, and finally we do have contact, Rima and Vabs. Looks like the Vabs are a little bit too far forward, or these guys had their... oh, that's a spike team. That explains it. So, I mean, they are very fragile. Looks like the Rima do get the kill, so that's just payback for the Vabs, I think. Gongbyung, yeah. So Gongbyung, I think, are relatively good. Their flash launchers, I think, they do volleys of 3, right? So it's shot, 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 reload, shot, 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 reload. But Navy is going to make himself known. Let's watch that bomb drop. Brutal, brutal stuff right there. Lots of kills, lots of vehicles, lots of infantry. And may well have saved that position too, because it does look like there are still some Red 4 infantry on that side. Now, Commando's Para should do well against Panzerjäger, but they're just far enough away. Well, hard to say, and these Terramusties are going to be just, that's going to seal the deal. For 30 points too, so Terramusties, very much a good unit. Although, probably better as transports than as the base vehicle, because the base vehicle doesn't have any armor. So, Alouettes, let's see, there's some presence for Monkey here. But Bravo looks well in hand. That can definitely be a threat. Usually you'd assume the Red 4 side of the field does have an easier job in Bravo, and that is going to be hard for Canadian as the game moves forward because, well, it's harder to hold places close to your opponent's spawn, and it's hard to get much closer than this. I mean, if he has amphibious units, they can just shoot the gap right here, which, I mean, That's a wide front. You can smoke up the side of it, then get right into the trees. You don't have to go down that funnel. Okay, bit of a suicidal XA-180, but he found some Eriko. Oh, that's what it was. Alright, so he sent vehicles forward until he found contact. Fighting Falcon is trying to take care of that. Does take a bit of a shot. Okay, and yeah, there's not going to be much left alive in those woods. Alright, let's see. Cobra. Yeah, you can't do this with the Cobra. This is the sort of thing I had in my last game on Hell in a Very Small Place as well, where my opponent's Cobra got away with 1 point of strength left, but this one is not going to be so lucky, it looks like. He's not moving, and even Yakuri 90, just... those Cobras, they will mulch infantry as long as they don't get too close, and that's really a crucial thing. Spike team getting very nice kill right there. That's a dead Pion. Beautiful. Alright, just by the way, if it feels like I've been pushing the likes and engagement a lot lately, it's because I have been. I really want to do a 500 subscriber live stream. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but I kind of have to get there first. And, yeah, it takes some time, it takes some ask, and it takes some of you guys really just promoting this stuff more than I can on my own. So, Gewehrman moving forward, and this is always an interesting choice. I see this a lot in generic Blue 4 decks, just standard Gewehrman. And I get that the M72 Law is good, I get that the MG3 is good for 10 points, regular training, but I don't know, I just thought maybe there would be different choices that wouldn't make Gewehrman that common. I mean, you still get access to Dragoner, for example, and I get that they're mechanized, but still. Alright, Seaplane may be taken out. No, not quite. And I've never seen F-14 Tomcat play like this either, so Canadian's definitely leading the way with that. He's drawing some IR fire and does get out. Okay. I don't know. I've never really seen that outside of playing with Canadian. I mean, yeah, maybe in some larger team games, but never 1v1s or 2v2s, that sort of thing. Looks like more reinforcements coming in on the left-hand side. I have to wonder if he's trying to sneak all the way around again. Element of surprise is probably a little gone there, but looks like the Saperzi Stromovi will be handled by NOs. That is pretty good, because the NOs have, I believe, 2 frontal armor, yep, and that should be more than enough against napalm, well, not napalm launcher, but I suppose that sort of unit. Okay, so what he's doing, he's sweeping that side to make sure there's nothing left over there. I like that a lot. But there is a kernel of resistance on the far side of Gulf. That's going to make it hard to cap, certainly hard to, well, hard to cap unilaterally. You might be able to get a counter cap there. And it is worth pointing out, Echo is uncapped, Charlie is uncapped, Bravo is uncapped. There's nothing here short of the deployment zones. And it's a first lieutenant and a captain. We're 10 minutes in, and neither one has gotten a single point of actual conquest points, which is kind of the point of the game here, right? That's how you win. So it does sort of raise the question of why play like that. And I think if he were there, if Canadian were here to tell me this right now, what he'd probably say is sometimes the opener with actual position on the ground is more important. And you can see Echo is just now capped by Munke, so he's leading the way there. A bit of an interesting choice, considering he does appear to be on the back foot positionally. Maybe the idea is to, well, so this could force out, yep, there it is, Humvee CP from Canadian. Fighting Falcon going in against Iroquois is a bit brave, especially we did see the IR anti-air earlier, but if it lands, yeah, they're gone. And that does clear the way for those Gewehrmen, so I understand it. So the CV in Echo forces out a CV from Charlie, sorry, into Charlie from Canadian, and that sort of might be a tempo sort of control decision from Monkey there. Maybe if he thinks he's planning a counteroffensive or something and he brings out a CV, forces out a CV by from Canadian, and then pulls Canadian's attention elsewhere. I don't know, it's just a thought. It would work better if it wasn't symmetrical, right? Because it's 100 points on either side, it doesn't really help you get ahead on value on the ground. So that's a bit confusing. But you know, for anyone who's doing a community cast, I am always happy to have you along to explain the thought process, otherwise I do have to just guess a little bit, and yeah, I mean, even guessing, I think there's a lot to be learned here. It certainly had a couple of engagements that wouldn't have been done the way that I would have done it, and one of those decisions is using generic blue. It's not something I've really had much luck with. So, Rima 85 against Panzerjäger, lost a couple of them, it looks like, in the woods prior. Panzerjäger do have an Apolos, which is a very, very nice anti-tank launcher. Could be, well, no, so the Panzerjäger are out. That's going to be a worthwhile engagement for Monkey there, not for Canadian, especially with that Avia. Let's see, Tomcat's not quite enough to get it. MiG's going for the Tomcat and no hits. Second Tomcat does take down that MiG, so okay, I guess I can, I see it, I'm with you. But there's a Tomcat down as well, so a bit of a 1-to-1 trade here. Now, it is a small map, you don't get to pick your map when you're doing ranked, it's just sort of randomly rolled. So maybe on a longer map, those Tomcats would be a bit more of a apt choice for it, but, I mean, you have to sort of plan your deck for the most common situations, right? And sort of make do, try and force fit what you have to. So, Vabs against Saperzi, very nice response to all the Saperzi we've seen. It's a fair number as well. So, that's certainly good. Rima actually staying alive, and I love this AMX-10 RC placement, shooting right across the river. And I think what he's doing here, he's forcing an engagement over on this side, and then that forces his opponent to reinforce past his AMX-10. So, I mean, that seems to be working pretty well. Rima should beat Yekri 90 in the woods. They do have the Mini-Me and Shock training, but they are much more expensive. Yekri are just 10 points each. And if those mortars can make good contact, that could become... Is that a mortar or is that a howitzer? It looks like a howitzer almost, one of the lower point, somewhat faster firing rate ones, but low accuracy with that. And nice cutoff there. So it looks like Monkey's KTs are able to catch some RBS 56 in the open ground before they can get into this town, and that's crucial because, I mean, he already has RBS 56 here, that's going to cause enough of a problem, or it'll just shoot the gap right between. That's a little unfortunate. That's a nice little angle there, I like this. Surprisingly beautiful game when you zoom in. I mean, you wouldn't think that given the age, oh geez, second miss off of 56, given the age of the game, but this is, I mean, it's pretty good. Decent resolution, scales as you go in farther. Sorry if this is a little bit nerdy on the whole performance aspect of it, but 3 misses in a row from the RBS 56. That's rough. That's going to seal the fate of those Gewehrmen too, because in the town, they should be able to fend off Yekri 1-to-1, but they can't. I do have to wonder if the KTs are out of ammunition, though, otherwise they could still be firing. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty one-sided in terms of map control. The only thing I wonder is if it leaves open an avenue for Monkey to sort of choose his spot and push it back. The wider spread you are, with the same number of points, I mean, it's symmetrical warfare at the start, right? The asymmetry comes in whenever people have favorable engagements, but you have to force them first. You don't really just, you can't start up 200 points up on somebody, and yeah, okay, this is that sort of thing. So you get a local force superiority, and then you grind back momentum by taking out, you know, you put 80 points in one area, you use it to kill your opponent's 40 points. And then you're up 40 points, and often without too many casualties, but you have to watch out for things like the Fighting Falcon. See, bombs didn't drop. That's going to be an expensive mistake, especially if that Fighting Falcon, yep, taken down by a MiG. Oof. So that was, the intention there, I'm assuming, was to take out the Saperzi and the Terra Musti, and it just wasn't quite able to do that. One hit on the MiG, not enough to kill, and the Tomcat's going to have to circle around again. Long stun on the MiG, so might be able to get that second shot, but aim time's pretty long, and that's, I think we'll probably be able to get out before, yep, well before that missile landed. That's unfortunate. And Ranico are doing good work. Those are brutal, brutal infantry, not something you want to tangle with. And I'm getting a little bit concerned here, because Monkey's Ranico are, I mean, they can kill Gewehrmen all day long. It's just a matter of if they'll eventually get ground down. Okay, SBS against Ranico, nice defense here. It's expensive, but if you're counting on your opponent always trying to do that sort of thing, I mean, this route is well known in anything above, say, corporal or sergeant level games as something that happens all the time. So I've seen it now in a couple multiplayer games, and the first time it was pointed out to me, I was sitting there going, really? You go around there? And then, well, yeah, you do, and you do for good reason. So this is why I love Terra Mustis, 10 points, and look at that, it's already gotten one of the NOs, which is 10 points right there. And fair amount of damage on these Gewehrmen. Look at that. More than half killed on the Gewehrmen. Yeah, holding in for a bomb. The seed play from Monkey has been very nice this game as well, so that's not going to be good. I guess... It's an interesting thing. If you're doing generic blue, you have a lot of variety, but you don't have any of the best of anything. Well, I guess short of a couple of unicorn units that are still just that good, but... It does have to make it a bit difficult to play against things that are, you know, the really good prototype, high-tech, late-game sorts of units that you're going to go up against, especially with Baltic Front here. So KTs, Mi-24Ws, that's really not the cutting edge, but the Iroquois are Ranico A390. I don't remember if they are prototype or not. No, not that you necessarily bring them. You just have fewer activation points as well, which means less variety in what you can field at any point in time. So your responses to things have to be a bit neater, they have to be a bit more intentional. It's going to lead to some force fits, and we can see that here. So Sapper Z, Stormovie, and then the KTs on that side from Monkey are just chewing those Gewehrmen apart. So, I don't know, that was a pretty brutal fight, honestly. But Golf is capped, Fox is capped, Charlie's capped, looks like a +2 ticking for Canadian. And we're getting a little bit into the realm that Monkey doesn't want to be in, because 18 minutes left, 19 minutes left maximum. And he's starting to clear a 50-point or so gap. That, I mean, it's not a lot, but you have to fight your way back down from +2 all the way to +1 in the other direction. The use of Avias has been a thing of beauty here. Look at that. 3 Gewehrmen dead, Tomcat unable to get the kill, and that MiG, sort of... Actually, I think the MiG did take down the Tomcat there, damn. Yeah, so lots of good bomber play. I think what it might come down to, by the look of it, I would be surprised if Canadian's positive kills death for this. I think it's going to be an issue of whether or not he can hold on long enough, because if he can, then that +2 he has right now can really carry the game. If he can't, he's going to just have a complete blowout, right? You can push right through one of these zones into the other, because there's not really much of anything back here. So, Ranico Yak390, this has become... So I liked where it started, with forcing the engagement over there, then shooting across the bridge, but now I think that's become a bit of a point sink, and you have to sort of decide what you want to do with that. You can give up these woods, you can make your defenses in the towns, but there's been consistent bombing runs, and I think that's going to be a recipe for disaster. So I understand why he's fighting over there still. It just seems like it's a lot of points. What is that? That's something red for, taking out a mortar as it's coming up. So that's 30-40 point kill right there, not too terrible, to say the least. But there's nothing around here to kill him. So SASF are guarding the Humvee CP. I don't really see a response over here, but it was up there for such a small amount of time. If you're not looking, staring at your minimap, you may well have missed that. So I'm curious how he got it around. It might have been from over here, as soon as there's Ranico on that side. If that's Ranico 90, yep, there it is. Down goes the CP. That's the same Ranico 90 group that we saw fighting against Canadian right here in this gap. And it looks like they just went right through, getting one of those zones, clearing out Golf entirely, and pushing on into the woods. That has to be uncomfortable. Now's the time I would like to see one of those recon helos. I think that would be a good choice for it, because there's a fair amount of open ground on this side, and the Cobra could get decent work done. On the other hand, Rima and RBS are clearing this out now. Lynx AH7, very nice usage there. And I don't know, this could be rough. Yeah, nice. Shots right across the bridge. Looks like the second kill as well, so might be a response to that soon. Hornet coming in, does look like he got a kill on the Wilk and then taken out by the MiG. Strictly speaking, worthwhile for Monkey there. The Wilk is about 90 points, and that Hornet... Ooh, never mind. Never mind. Down goes the MiG. Blaze of fiery... Ooh, glory there. Sorry, I lost track of him for just a second. And smack. So, I mean, the combination of those two does make that worthwhile for Canadian. He lost an expensive plane, but he also took down an expensive plane and freed up his own airplay a little bit more by getting rid of air superiority fighters for the Red 4 team. Yak390 pushing in, this is what you don't want at all right now, because if Monkey can regain a foothold on this side, then he can definitely pincer these woods, and that's going to push you back in Golf, it's going to push you back in Fox, it's going to allow a counter cap potentially. These guys are out of fuel. Oh, that's hilarious, look at that. They're out of fuel, and they're still getting some decent work done. Looks like the smoke from those Sapper Z is blinding them a bit, and Ranico will take them out no problem at all, so that's a little rough. Here's a Cobra, and that looks like an Ito to me. That's shooting in at him. Down goes the KT. Might have been nice to kill the Terramusties as well, and yeah, definitely an attack marker right there, pointing out his opponent's anti-air. Lucky that the Cobra didn't die, though. That was a close call. And still no response on this side. You would have to wonder what cleared out the command vehicle in Golf at this point, because there's no marks for artillery, there's no marks for bombers. That looks like direct fire, because anything else would have left some sort of telltale indicator. And we don't see that. So Avia 28's 1, 2, oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's right centered on this town. Let's take a look, and smack, smack. Frankly, lucky that the Rima survived. I was not counting on that. Yeah. So Gungbyun are getting a little overwhelmed there, and their AMXs, I don't think this is enough to heal it, because Gungbyun are going to get killed, and at that point the Panzer 90 are going to just mulch right through that AMX-10, especially if he's stunned and panicked from the napalm. So really good combined sorts of forces. They're not really combined arms, it's all infantry, but certainly combined specialist units. Maybe I should take those sappers a bit more often. Sokol fending off a Cobra. Looks like he got a little bit tired of him hovering just outside of anti-air range, and that is good use on the Sokol. 55 points for the Cobra, 65 for the Sokol. If he can hit anything else, really, that should be worthwhile. AMX-10 RC taken out by a side shot off the Terra Musty. That is why those things are just amazing. It's also why I like Raskas and Korima so much, who are of course the recoilless rifle infantry. They're only 15 points, and you can get blobs of, you know, up to 4 to 8 recoilless rifles, all for a pretty cheap price. Lynx H7, that is danger close there, but I guess if you don't deal with the Ranako Yekri soon, that is going to be a problem. SASF comporting themselves very well here. I was expecting them to not be able to handle the Ranako at all. And maybe a last minute kill, that's one missile, but that's the problem with SASF. Strela 2Ms deal 3 HE damage. If this was SASF 90, that helicopter would be dead. As it is, he's just injured, and that's not good enough. This is not horse shows, nor is it hand grenades, and holy cow, I think we missed it again. There must have been Ranako in there. Let's see what we can see, and yep, Ranako Yekri. So, one single unit, all the way from over here, down through Gulf, down through the center. I think, honestly, this is Canadians replay, but those Ranako, led by Parkkinen, are definitely the star of the show today, and they might even be able to snag another little treat here as a Humvee CP is headed back up through Charlie. 0-0 on the points ticking, and now I'm beginning to understand why this game runs the full 40 minutes. There it is. Ranako Yekri shooting in 1, 2, 3 command vehicle kills on that single group of infantry. That is the single best return on investment I think I've ever seen out of infantry in this game. You can see similar on tanks, things like that, and yep, here's the Cobra response, and a little bit too little, too late, but might just, oh no, down to 1, stunned, killed. Oh goodness gracious. Yeah, okay. 355 points minimum. I think those are actually 110 pointers, so that's going to be what, 385 points worth of kills on Ranako, and they're still alive. There's still one man left. So that still is an issue, because even one man in an elite squad can kill another Humvee CP. So, it looks like he's moving out. Avia 28 coming forward. Might be just looking for that usual position, which is in the back right-hand corner in Fox. Avia does finally die. That's going to be from the Hawk Pip 3 and the Hovet. Let's see. He backed into it. So if he had stayed here, he would have been safe. As it was, he saw the bomber, he moved backward, and lost that command vehicle again. That's what? 4 command vehicle kills for Monkey. It's pretty brutal work there, honestly. That's going to be a huge points tax, and it does have to make Canadian think about the rear part of his field again. So, I mean, HQ section, that's a bit more resilient to a single man left in an elite squad, and the Lynx H7 is just staying right there. You can see he's hunting for those Panzer Yekri, who have to be a little confused. Might have seen it go over their head, might not. Very well could have. That's going to be a Rock 91 shooting in here. Yep, there it is. Ranako Yekri, 2 man left, not just 1, and stun on the Lynx H7. I swear, if this guy gets even more. But it looks like XA-180 and O's are going to save the day. Jeez. Nearly killed the Lynx, nearly killed the HQ section with just 2 men left, and a counter cap potentially taken out. I'm not quite sure what that was. That's going to be the last of the RBS-56, and these HQ section have to be very careful. SBS might be able to protect them for now, but not against Panzer Yekri and Saprzi on that side. So this could turn into a +3 ticking for Monkey if we're not careful real soon here. Maybe not if the HQ section gets to be in a stable position, but they're getting shelled. I would not feel very comfortable about that at all. And yeah, stunned. I think he's trying to move them again. Bravo has been lost. That is a +3 ticking for Monkey for the first time in this fight. 7 minutes left. It's not going to be quite enough. He needs a +4, or he needs to push Canadian back just that little bit more than he currently has. But this could be pretty good. Ranako Yekri right there at the edge of the woods. Rocket pods going in. 1 kill. I'd expected a little bit better. And not quite enough to take down that group yet. We need those last 9 Sneb rocket pods, but they're just able... Oh, no. Okay, so there is a kill on the Lynx. That is pretty nice. Get that guy back. Get him resupplied. No fob. So no way of doing that without resupplied trucks. That's not exactly ideal. Okay. And this does deny the +3 to Monkey, so that's going to be, with Charlie resecure, that's going to be a +1. So I don't think there's a way for Monkey to get back into winning this game without sort of wiping out everything. He needs to push into Charlie, he needs to push into Delta, but, I mean, with so many CV buys, that's, what, 600 points on command vehicles? I don't know, more like 500 or so. That is just such a huge investment. So I think that really could be a problem. If you had taken a couple tanks and just driven right down the center at this point, honestly, pulled the South Africa Ruakat rush, or at least the closest you can get to it, with T-55 Maddies. I don't know if he has them in the deck. I haven't seen any Maddies so far, and they are a little unique, not necessarily the best performing tanks ever, but that would have been the time for him right there when you just need that gun and enough of them on the ground to handle piecemeal sorts of responses. I mean, any sort of main firepower could have killed the Hawk Pip and the Hovet, but it didn't, and you know, that's why scouting is so important here. That's why knowing what your opponent is doing is so important. SAS left in this section. Yeah, I mean, that's a bunch of kills. The Ito 86s are 25 points apiece. That is pretty nice. And the 21 MF is not going to be able to get a kill in one go. Of course, rocket pod planes. I never know if they're in style or not. Because on the one hand, they're pretty nice. On the other hand, it's hard to get a return on investment unless your opponent clumps up high expensive infantry, which, if they're skilled, they probably won't do very often. So, okay, looks like he's sending units down the pipe, looking for that anti-air maybe? Would like to see these guys just keep going. Of course, I'm a sergeant, Canadian's a first lieutenant, who am I to wonder why? But it's easier to, of course, backseat general than it is to do it day of. I mean, at least that's what I'm told. Cheetah D not quite able to get the kill, taken down on his way in, and the Rock 91 proving to be potentially another catastrophe here as a Hawk Pip 2 is taken out, and that Humvee CP barely survives. Pounding the same position twice. This is the same position that he bombed earlier on, so a little bit of an interesting choice there. I would have spread it out just a bit, but I wouldn't have guessed right where the Humvee CP is. I would have maybe gone here or here if I thought that that would be sort of a different way of mixing it up. So actually, a little bit of mind games. Putting that Humvee CP nearly back where it was might have actually saved its life. You never know with these games. You really, it's kind of just play it by ear sometimes. So with Golf capped, Bravo capped the Red 4 team, that's still a +1 for Canadian, and I think at this point, Monkey has to know it's over. This is probably just playing to the last second, which is always an admirable thing, although I don't think anyone would blame him for surrender at this point. 2 minutes left in the game, and a truly insurmountable points gap at this time. So that's 70%. Looks like a Sokol buy from Monkey here. Not really sure why. Could be the one that we saw earlier, just going back up. And a couple of KTs, there's a Pion. I don't know, I think at this point just throw stuff in. I mean, why not? It's not like you're gonna lose that much more than you already were in trouble for. And a nice Super Cobra kill. Yeah, the Super Cobra's dead. Push, 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 push. Get right across this open ground if you can. There's no reason to stop. Not with a minute left. And yeah, this does give me some bad KDs sometimes, because here's the thing. I'd rather lose while trying to win than lose while sitting there losing. And now you can see the Wilkes and the Pions are getting on the way, so very nice weapons jammed. Oh man, Hovets. Wait, did he just... He killed that, he got that kill with a Hovet on side armor of a flipping tank. A recon tank. Oh man. Sometimes anti-aircraft guns, I think they just... Their rate of fire makes them more effective than you'd think against a myriad of targets. So, Pion is still... No, okay, Pion's still alive. Very badly damaged, but still alive, and another Humvee CP lost in Fox to that Pion. Oh man. Alright, well that is going to be it for the game, as the last couple seconds are not quite enough for Monkey to make a comeback. Very contentious game, and let's see, 3,045 kills, 4,205 losses. Monkey in fact did come out on top of that for kills losses, but hey, that's not the mode they were playing. It wasn't destruction, it's conquest. Map position is what matters. And Canadian got the job done. So some standout units, so let's take a look here. SASF did pretty well, a couple of Super Pumas and the Yakri, probably inside either the Pumas or the BTR. More SASF, and yeah, I mean, clearing out Iroquois Yakri is a good job for them to do. Hovet took down a MiG, that's a really good return on investment there, MX-10. This is the one that was shooting across the bridge. Lots of Terra Musty kills, not too much higher value, but the Ranico and KT is some pretty high value stuff. And I see one kill for the Tomcats. I don't really see anything else. So that's going to be all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.